Hi, so today I'd like to talk about how to solve equations. So when we're solving for an equation, we're trying to find a value for the variable that will make both sides of the equation true. All right, so let's say that we have an expression like this, and we set it equal to, say, 14. All right, so this is an equation, and we're trying to find the value of x that will make both of these sides of the equation balanced, all right, making this statement true. So in order to do that in this case, we have to multiply -6 times the quantity x plus 2. In order to do that, we're going to have to do something called distributing the negative. So since this is a -6, we're going to have to distribute over this x and then over this positive 2. So that looks like this. We're going to multiply -6 times x first, so it'll be -6x. Then -6 times a positive 2 is a -12. So it's going to be -12. Now we have totally taken away the parentheses because distributing now breaks apart this parentheses, and so this is what the expression looks like when it's been completely distributed. It's still equal to 14, and now we're going to use our property of equality. Whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other side because since it's an equation, it needs to remain balanced the whole time. So if we see a -12 here and we want to get rid of that -12, we'll do that through what we call an inverse operation. So the inverse operation for a subtraction is addition, and the inverse operation for multiplication is division. All right, so if we see a subtraction sign, we need to do its inverse operation, which is an addition. So we add 12 to both sides. And so -6 equals 14 plus 12, which is 26. Now we have a multiplication here between -6 and x. -6 is being multiplied against x, all right? The only way to undo that bond of multiplication is through its inverse operation, which is division. So we divide both sides by -6. So x is going to equal -26 over 6. All right, so let me just write this up here so there's a little bit more room. So these cross out. The -6 over -6 crosses out to just 1. So we have 1 times x, or just x, equals 26 over -6. And then, since this is a fraction that can be reduced, let's reduce it to 13 over -3. So this is an improper fraction that has been completely simplified. So you could write your answer like this. This is a perfectly great answer. You could also write it as -13 over a +3. That's also an acceptable answer. And then if you want to make it into a mixed number, that's fine too. So that would be 4 and 1/3, and it would be negative. So x equals this, or this, or this, and all these three answers are equivalent. And if we plugged any of these values, which are the same value just in different forms, back into the original equation, it would balance both sides. And so that's how we know if we wanted to check that we had the correct answer.